Once you've gone through the main emotions involved with a memory, you're going to want to find out the lesson that it has to teach you. What is it that that particular experience was defined by? Is it something that you could have controlled or could have went differently? Is it something that had to happen that way? These are the things that you want to think about. What were your relationship to that situation, to that experience? And was there any way that this experience could have been changed? Now, this is important to do, and also we're going to connect this experience to the next step down, the next memory in the block. You're going to want to see exactly where that memory comes from as well, the next stage of your life that we are going to work through and discover. And this is very important. So, as you can see here, I've started with the emotion area, and we're going to go on to the main lessons learned. So let's work now to understand the lessons that memory teaches. So, for this memory, in this time of my life, I was just very unsure of myself. Um, didn't really have much of a self awareness going on. Just kind of did what I felt like or what other people told me to at any given time. No, like, real inner strength. So, like, my biggest lesson would be, like, having inner strength and not letting people treat me in a certain way. And also to stay true to who I am in the midst of struggles rather than trying to adapt to what other people want me to be, which is something that I was doing a lot during this time. And it's also clear to me that each level, each memory has different lessons, has different situations that are all different in the way that they manifest. Like, these cycles take on different forms. It can be easy to not see them as cycles because of that. But very much so, this was still a cycle of the way that I was treated growing up, I guess. Because that's where my mind is taking me next. That's the next step. And as time goes on, these different traumas take different names, but they're all still part of the same pain or the same trauma that you've been through in the past. And we're going to dive into it soon, the deeper levels, because, for instance, like, you're gonna have to do this until you feel like you can go to those deeper levels. For me, I'm pretty young, so there's only so many stages of my life that I have to go through. But for somebody who's older, it might take longer, depending on how rough their life's been, how many areas of their life do they feel like need a second look. And that's fair. Just take this process and go at your own speed. This process in itself is healing. This isn't, like, just because this isn't all there is to shadow healing, doesn't mean that it isn't an essential and important part that you could spend weeks doing, and you should feel free doing that. Just get in a comfortable position every day and do 10 to 15 minutes of shadow work, and you'll see a lot of difference in the way that you see the world, in the way you see yourself, and how you understand yourself. This is the most important part, is how you think about yourself and the way you experience things. So, the next step in this is that you're going to want to write it in your journal. I'll always remind you. Write in your journal what you learned, the lesson, and your next step. What memory are you going to be working on next? How deep are you going this time? Take the time that you need in between. For me, the next step is going to be with my family, especially the cycle of my life where I was introduced to my stepfather and my stepfamily. As this was a time when I dealt with a lot of problems, and I'll just focus on the family part for now, as that's the part that keeps coming up as similar to this cycle of emotions, of these negative emotions. Although it does seem like there's some school like related stuff as well, like how I felt during school. So I think I'll do the family and and then the school to see how those ones connect. And if this is happening with you as well, where there's multiple things within a certain time period that need addressed, just pick the one that is most essential to you at that moment, the one that is most close to your consciousness, like the one you think about the most clearly, and do that one first. And then go into the other one to kind of like, they'll probably mix and mingle in ways that you hadn't seen before, but it's just a good way to go to that part in a good order for your mind and your body, because your mind is going to help you go to this length. It wants you to dive into these memories. It's you that's working against yourself, really, and me that's working against me, and everybody who's working against everybody else is like everybody's working against themselves, you know? So take this time, go a little bit deeper, write it in your journal, and let's continue this journey together.